So in the kinetic version, then, as you know, they just happenstance move around, then they would sort of then, most of the time, there would be no line of sight of a word, probably, right?
Well, we have, Eric and I discussed this. Because of the fact that they're relying, if they were to be able to spin, they would have to be counterbalanced. Now, the way that these words are situated, there is definitely a certain amount of weight playing on certain sides. And with about a 1 to 2 degree slight change in an angle, then they would still be able to play with the wind, but they would always rest at that place.
Oh, okay, so what you're saying is they wouldn't spin 360, but rather they would move a little bit, but the word would be present from sun.
Yeah, that was the solution.
So we wouldn't have to worry about, you know.
You're worried about the obscene words.
No,
and the letters.
Point, yeah.
If you line the letters up differently, you could actually have more than 2 words.
Well, let me tell you, I have. This is funny. You guys may get a kick out of this. File, open recent. Let's see.
You like playing the jumble.
Yes. Okay. I have actually compiled every single combination that these words can make. If those letters were to spin, and so when I came into these words, because I was coming from a kinetic element, and then when I came back to school, we started talking about it and realized that the kinetic part may be cost prohibitive. Then I sat, before that, I was really worried about it making alternative words. That was a huge concern for me.
Sure.
And
I think that's a real concern.
Yeah, and no, it's very concerning to me.
Yeah, because what does LRVE spell?
Word.
Nothing, exactly. And
but that's okay.
Let me see, I know I have this. See, this is the page. Love and soar makes 9. Love, dare makes lair, lave, Dave, dog. Love and grow, 9. Love, play, 9. Love, lead makes load, lev. I was trying to really be as thorough as possible, because I do know how, when you're dealing with words, things can be misinterpreted. And also, there's so much slang out there now that I really used, I included slang in this too, you have to. This is about hope, it's about, growth, it's about, just community and civicness and pride, and, anything other than that would, detract from the message. So, does that answer your questions?
Oh, that
more than enough.
No.
I have another question for you.
Please.
There are trees on these islands. How do you see those playing with the letters?
Actually, I hadn't remembered that there were trees on there until Eric reminded me this morning of that.
Okay.
I think it would basically be a matter of trying to ascertain if the trees are going to obstruct the legibility of the words. If they were, I know that you guys had mentioned possible relocation. Mm-hmm. Possible we could relocate them on the island, or maybe into the medians or something like that. But, I'm a big proponent of trees and green, so, it'd just be a matter of transplant, if that were necessary.
I can see where it could almost focus the view where it's spelled words, make sure there's no trees, but where the view
almost like parentheses.
Yeah, but when you go to another view where it's more abstract, and the fact that trees would obstruct doesn't make any difference. It just would add to the green, but always make sure the 2 lines of sight where the words are spelled are always clear enough.
That's an excellent idea. It's just a 4 foot by 4 foot by 2.5 foot concrete block. And the rod would actually be cast into the block, and it would be subterranean, so that's to allow for the maximum amount of weight so that this does not topple over. So a subterranean burying it like that actually gives me a lot of play for these letters and the weight distribution as far as win factors and stuff. So the way that, the way that I've done this, these are more like elements that there's flexibility in how they're arranged. The biggest part is visibility, being able to see the words with the traffic that it's directed towards. So as long as we can accomplish that, then we've accomplished my goal.
I assume that because it's aluminum, you don't have a lot of weight here, so that the pole doesn't have to be really structurally.
Well, I've all of that will be looked at by an engineer. And when I was in Florida, my dad's a contractor, and so I used his engineer to draw up the schematics for the mobile ones, the kinetic ones. So I have a general idea of what it's going to take to secure. So this is pretty much in line with what it's going to take.
Proportionally.
Proportionally, yes. However, this rod would be a little thicker. It would be a tube, actually, with probably a ½ inch wall. It also, what I've rated it at as far as my calculations are 70 mile per hour winds, which I think is the NDOT's kind of general standard for what things need to be able to resist.
I love the different fonts. Did you also at random sort of just whatever struck you with the...
I chose them specifically. When I spent a lot of time at the coffee shop in my hometown, which we only have one, and I literally went through every font for every letter to try and figure out what I thought worked. And so every letter is specifically a font, and that's just, in a way, to me, that speaks about language. It speaks about unique and the individual, and just how together, it creates this kind of an aesthetic, a really interesting aesthetic, and that's dynamic. And you're also talking about how you like the diversity, and you're really exploring that as part of kind of the narrative of Lawrence. And so that's not what I was thinking when I was doing it, but it is kind of a nice play on that.